and I care about you guys, and I want the best for you guys. I want your freedom. I can't want it more than you, but I want it pretty bad. I just love seeing men free, and I'm just really honored to be here. I'm just keep that in mind. I'm proud of every one of the journeys you're on, and yeah. In a great discussion I had with the leaders of the other two groups, Cam and Chris, some of you would know them. We were just talking about what would be some good topics to cover in these sessions, and Chris came up with this suggestion, and I really liked it. And this is going to be a practical talk of how to do regroup better. This is going to be all about doing the check-in properly, thoroughly, whatever words you want to put on it, and so yeah, this is an instructional piece about process rather than a teaching piece, because if we get the process better, we will actually really benefit by the things that we have set up. And so in the chat, which Austin will put in the group text and WhatsApp, so you get it one of those two ways, whatever works for you. And some of you can't open it and also have, you know, your computer or phone open. I get that, but I would like to, starting this fall, use this new check-in, and it's only about I don't even know if it's 10% difference. There's just a few words added along the way to bring greater clarity as to what I'm asking you to consider checking in on. Remember, you don't have to do anything I say, but you don't have to be part of this group either. This group is designed to get you to a place of freedom from porn or sexual addiction so that you can walk with integrity and purity. That's what this group is for. And when I do the talks, when I do the coaching, when we do the instruction, and then we do the check-in, it's all designed to actually allow you to have a path, a direction, and a team to go with you on that recovery path and the goal. And so this check-in is very, very, very deliberately done to be inclusive on the things that need to be happening in your life. And so this is not whimsical. Matter of fact, to Cam's credit, he did a talk on identity in Christ. And he said, I really struggle, Currie, with, you know, hi, I'm Dave, and I'm a sex addict, and then talking about I'm going to get freedom in Christ. And he said, I don't want guys to be identified as their dark side, but identified as who they are in Christ on a journey to overcome this. And so we likely were 6 weeks just working on the declaration statement, the introductory statement, just back and forth, different. Matter of fact, last night I looked at the different ways we were going to try to say it. No, that's not quite right. That's not quite. Just this one line that we all are encouraged to actually say verbatim is a declaration clarification statement. But before we get to it, the first statement on the regroup check-in. So what it means and how I use it. See, when we break out into small groups, and when they do that in the other groups, there's 15 to 20 guys in the 39 Thursday night group. There's 20 to 25 guys in the Tuesday night group. And, you know, if everybody showed here, we'd be over 40. And, you know, we're 28 or 29 this morning. But this check-in sheet is to be used in the breakout to create connection through authenticity. I'm going to come back to authenticity, because authenticity goes with last week's talk about volunteering myself to the other guys and telling my hard stuff and even my victories, but telling the hard stuff, and then being willing to take input and direction in my blind spots. So it's all connection through authenticity. And it's not designed to be, one guy talking for 20 minutes. It's just the opposite. It's designed to be, 3 to 4 minutes, maximum 5, where each guy has a chance to update their week using these following statements. And they're not, oh, I'll do statements 1 and 4 and 7. That's what I'll do today. No. It's designed for you to do all the statements, because as you're honest about these statements, you're actually finding out more and more about your own recovery journey. Because if these are boxes that I should be aiming at, like boxes to check, then if I hear myself like saying, well, 0 this and 0 that, you're kind of, well, wake up. Why am I saying 0 again? And why didn't I do anything this week in this direction? One sharp guy who was on the call this morning, I really respect, but it was interesting. I said to him, I said, just do me a favor. Give me a year of your life to help you get this behind you, so you become a man of purity, integrity, and you can lead your family well. But just, when this has been kind of beating you up for a long time, why would we want that to just kind of hang around and not deal with it properly? And so all this is part of the recovery journey, the check-ins being specific. So we'll walk through these things. So you identify yourself to your group. You say, well, everybody knows me by now. Well, yes, but hi, I'm Dave, and I'm a much loved child of God, recovering from sexual addiction on my journey to freedom by the help of God, and my brother's here. And the brothers say, amen, because we're behind you. We're all part of your team. But the fact that you're a much loved child of God recovering, that's the important thing, to just, everybody starts the same. The recovery date, what does that mean? When did you begin the turnaround? When did you start getting help? And now that's different than your sobriety date. You might have turned around 2.5 years ago. In September of 2019, I reached out to my pastor to get help, or I reached out to a friend, or I started getting counsel, a DFR or whatever. And then the sobriety date is, I've been clean since, and it could be 170 days, whatever. So I've been clean since, May the 15th, 2022, and I'm approximately 147 days clean, or whatever. Okay. So we're declaring where we're at. Okay. So I began the turnaround. That doesn't change. When did you start to identify you had the problem? And then the wingman is who you're accountable to. And I really like, one guy in our small group said, well, to be honest, right now, things have kind of fallen apart with my wingman, and I'm not accountable to anybody right now. Well, I actually was thrilled with that, because we're being honest. We're disclosing the truth. You can say, well, I'm accountable to Bob right now. Well, actually, Bob left the province, and he's got his own problems. He doesn't have time for me anymore. So Bob's not a good candidate anymore to be the guy. But the idea being, I'm accountable to, and it could be 1, 2, or 3 guys. And I have, in this case here, I have Covenant Eyes, internet protection software, all my devices. I have Covenant Eyes on this computer that I'm using to talk to you guys this morning. Why? Because I have grandkids that come to my house, and my computer's here, and they're not going to get to anything accidentally. And it also is good protection for me not to go to any place stupid, because I know it's going to be reported into my accountability partner if I did something stupid. But identifying who the men are that you daily check into. Now, that daily check-in could easily be just a text, but you're actually meeting, weekly, hopefully at least every second week in person for half an hour, but at least online or on phone, or FaceTime, whatever. But wingmen are people you're accountable to, and you may want to work with one of the guys in your breakout group to be accountable to, just so it brings it right back to the group. When we get to boundaries are things that protect you from going stupid. So boundaries are, this is what I've heard guys say, okay, boundaries are ongoing counseling, Covenant Eyes, daily accountability, and honesty with my wife. Well, I gave 4, but you see, the guy's got boundaries. Boundaries are no social media, no movies after 9 o'clock at night, full disclosure on any blowups with my wife or whatever. And so you identify your primary current boundaries that you're wanting the guys to help you with, that you're operating on. Okay. And so, yeah, I know that there was a season, because I didn't want to even begin to get complicated. And I like a lot of sports. I like watching sports highlights at night. But when I was away speaking and without my wife, just in a hotel room, I did one of two things. I just refused to turn the TV on so I wouldn't get tempted to look at anything stupid. Or I said, okay, I'll only watch sports and I'll be accountable to Larry to text me, call me, and make sure that I'm all clean and not watching anything stupid. Now, why did I do that? Because I was watching stupid stuff on hotel rooms? Never did it once. But I'm foolish to think that I can't be tempted. I'm foolish to think that. So I set up a boundary that I will either not watch TV when I'm away by myself, or sports only, accountable to Larry that that's what's actually happened. You see, there's boundaries. And those boundaries are clear and known to the people that hold me accountable. So how's it going? How were you away? I said, no problem. I didn't turn the TV on. We're all good then. All right. So, whatever it is for you. And some of you, like I know guys that one of their boundaries is they've lost Wi-Fi on their phone. They don't have an internet package because, matter of fact, I have the dumb phone right here that I'm prepared to give to you. If you need to borrow one for a while, you can reboot this sucker and there's your number, and you're using my old wife's pink phone. That'd be really special. Little flip phone. Happy days. But boundaries, serious boundaries that keep you on the straight and narrow. When we get down to number 6, the 5 recovery commandments. And this is taken straight from Dr. Doug Weiss, who is, I believe, #1 in the world of helping men with recovery. All of us, Chris and Cam and myself, have all done our training with Dr. Weiss. I've been 4 times down to his office, sat in his office for an entire week when he goes through clients. I'm sitting in the corner listening and then taking notes and then asking him questions in between. And yeah, I just really feel honored. But he says these are the things that keep guys on the straight and narrow. And so morning prayer, and you can just declare, now I've added this, that I prayed with my wife, without my wife. In the morning, I don't pray with my wife usually, but at night I pray every night with my wife. And so in the morning, I'd be saying, okay, I'm 6 out of 7 days in morning prayer without my wife. And so you just, because praying morning, asking God to give you strength for the day, and then praying in the evening and thanking him for getting him through another day clean is kind of the bookend of the prayer. This is my recovery group this week. If you missed last week, explain why you missed last week. If you did miss last week, you don't need to say that one, but this is my recovery group this week, because attending recovery group is one of the marquee points of recovery. Making phone calls. I made 4 phone calls this week to a brother, or I made 5 or whatever. Because remember, the opposite of addiction is connection. Remember, these phone calls are 3 minutes or less is fine. Now, if you go 4 and 5, that's okay. But they're designed to be, hey, Colin, how's it going? How's it going? Start up at school. Just checking in on you. Are you accountable to somebody there? I'm having a good week. Got a full day of counseling today. I just wanted to call to encourage you today. And you may decide, hey, let me just pray for you. So that kind of deal where it's a short call. And if you call and they can't take the call and you get a voice machine, leave an answering machine voicemail. Leave a voicemail. And then you've made your call. Just called to encourage you today, Murray. I just behind you, believe in you. Just reminding you how good that talk was you did. And God bless you, brother. Have a great day. And so the idea being, just bringing encouragement, or because you've heard me say this before, and I'll say it with a little passion. If you don't make phone calls when you're doing good, you'll never make phone calls when you're struggling. If you don't make phone calls when you're doing good to encourage and just kind of help each other along. If you don't make phone calls when you're doing good, you'll never make phone calls when you're struggling. So this is the challenge. Phone calls need to be regular. And if every week you're saying, yeah, no, I made no phone calls this week. No, I made no phone calls this week. And some guys just skip that one. Well, why? Because they're not even trying. Well, I've sat in Doug's office. This is how serious he is. The next morning, the guy that he's working with in a sexual addiction, marriage intensive thing, he went to a group last night at Doug's request, and he said, yeah, you need to be making calls every day. And so Doug says, so did you make a call last night? The guy says, well, no, I was at the group, and then, got late. You had a few things for me to do. You didn't make a call last night. The guy says, no, I didn't get to it. He says, okay. You got your phone? Yeah, I got it here. He says, okay, I'm going to leave my office. I'm going to leave you here, and you make a phone call right now, because I'm serious. If you want to make a phone call in my time every day and you're paying to use me to make a phone call, fine. But you're making phone calls every day if I'm involved in this thing. I've seen him do that twice, where he says, come on, Currie. And we get out of his office and he lets the guy call. And he says, come out when you've made your phone call. One guy says, I've tried 3 guys. He says, we'll try 4. Go back in there, get a phone call. So that's how serious connection is. Phone calls, still within most of you guys in ReGroup, are optional. They're optional. They shouldn't be. I completed 15 minutes of recovery material. Well, the idea is that you would do about 2 hours of recovery a week. That would be 15 minutes every day, or in some cases, this week I did 15 minutes of recovery 3 days, but one of those days I was an hour and a half. So I got a good chunk of recovery in this week. Good. One guy wisely said, I've decided that first thing Saturday morning, because I'm not getting up to go to work, I'm going to put an hour to an hour and a half in recovery before my kids get up. That is a wise man. Now, you still would do some other things, and you can listen to podcasts while you're driving. There's lots of things you can do to just be working on recovery material. And then again, I said the last commandment that Doug encourages, that you pray at night, thanking God. And where possible, if you're married, pray with your spouse every night. It's a great thing. So you'd say, hey, I'm 5 out of 7 days in evening prayer with my spouse. Recovery work. This is where you actually identify what you've been doing, that 15 minutes of recovery work. This week I've been working on I listened to 2 podcasts. I've been working a lot in the 12-step program, and you could say right then I'm on step 4, or I'm step 8 or whatever. Remember that the 12-step program is a parallel course that you need to be working on your own. And ask around the guys; they'll get the contact information. It's the Final Freedom put out by Dr. Weiss, that material that we've been using for all the men. And so you explain what you've been doing in recovery work. And you recognize if a guy is saying, well, I didn't do any recovery work this week. I didn't do any recovery work this week. Oh, and by the way, reading the Bible is really good, but that's not recovery work. I read my Bible every day. I already read it this morning. And I want you to know that it's essential for a man of God to keep reading his Bible every day. But, say if you're going to read a chapter a day, it's not going to take you 5-7 minutes to keep that a consistent habit. Now, some of the chapters are longer, and you might kind of get into it and take notes and stuff, and might journal. So it might take you 15-20 minutes, whatever you decide, but consistency. But Bible reading doesn't replace recovery work. Okay, it's great. And you need to go forever with that. You don't need to do recovery work forever, because once you start getting to a place of consistent maturity and integrity and purity, you're not needing to do recovery work every day, every week. But for a season, you need to. And you don't do recovery work instead of Bible reading, and you don't do Bible reading as if it's recovery work. So that's important clarity to have there. And you see, if the guys in your breakout group hear you saying, yeah, I'm on step 3 of the 12-step program. The next week, I'm on step 3 of the, and 2 months from now, yeah, I'm still on, I'm getting working on, I'm still on step 3. The guys in the group should be calling bogus on that. Say, well, what's the deal? Are you working on it or not? Right. And some of you guys have your excuses why you're not even grabbing the 12-step program. Like you don't even have the books yet. To me, that's not acceptable. To me, you need to put the effort in and do the work. And it strengthens you. That particular 12-step program focused on addiction and wonderfully encouraged from a spiritual direction, from a spiritual source, is a wonderful tool to work through for your own recovery. Self-awareness. Today I'm feeling, you got to identify how you're feeling. I'm feeling encouraged today because my wife and I had a good weekend away together or whatever. Today I'm feeling tempted because my cousin from Edmonton is here, and he's a real messed up guy, and he always wants me to go to bars with him and stuff, and I'm just feeling tempted. Today I'm feeling discouraged because I just realized that I haven't been making my recovery a priority, and here I am again saying I haven't done anything. And I recognize I got to man up, right? But you tell how you're feeling about life. Spiritually, how you doing with Jesus? I'm committed today. I've already had my devotions. I got a game plan of encouraging 5 of my grandkids today. I have 3 meetings this morning and 8 meetings this afternoon, and I'm going to walk with Jesus all day. So yeah, that's how you're doing. Life situation, that has to do with like work, family, spouse. Right now, the status of my world is good. My wife and I are in a great place. And we got a week away coming. Actually, it's going to be a staycation, but yeah, that's coming, and we're excited about that. And so just acknowledging, it could be my wife and I are separated right now, and I've got to show some more maturity in my recovery before she will, welcome me back or whatever life situation. My goal, my growth goal. My goal is I'm going to commit in my recovery, to do this in my recovery. So whatever it is for you. One guy needs to find a new accountability partner because his moved away or whatever. One guy says, I'm committing to do 15 minutes of recovery work 2 days a week, and then Saturday or Sunday morning put another hour in. Okay, so whatever your commitment is to the guys in the group that they can track with. Matter of fact, one group I sat in one of the groups in Doug Weiss's, everything a guy committed to do was written in a book. And so when he checked in, the guy who was leading said, okay, did you do this week? Whoa, that's called accountability. If you say that's my goal to do this. Now, if a guy says, yeah, I only got 45 minutes on Saturday morning, not an hour. Okay, well, we can celebrate doing 45 minutes and 2 other 15-minute shots. That's great. But the growth goal needs to be something you commit to. And then my most critical prayer request today is, and it's a little more specific than just that I would do better in recovery, or because some guys just repeat the same thing every week. Well, okay, I would prefer that you be more specific about where you're at in your journey right now, that I need prayer for. I need to make some things right with my wife, or I need prayer for, I realize after hearing the talk today, I gotta talk to my accountability partner about some things. And so would you pray for me that talk goes well, or for me and my wife, or I'm having a struggle with one of my daughters or whatever. Could you pray for me? I'm speaking to a men's group this Saturday or whatever, right? But you give a specific prayer request that is not the same thing every week, because it doesn't show a growing edge when you do that. And you know, when you get down to the life situation and you had a setback, i.e. you relapsed, you looked at porn, or if you and your wife had a blow up, or you went to a questionable establishment or watched a crazy movie that was inappropriate on TV and you need to confess there, and just disclose that to the men. You see, we need to support you through the hard things. This is your opportunity to be honest about your struggles. And if if you relapsed, then I'm all clean day 4 right now or whatever. That's where it would come out initially, and you could spell out more on your life situation. So the crosstalk is designed to be a place where men can give and receive input to one another, both grit and grace. Grit meaning calling you to greatness and not accepting excuses. And grace meaning I love you, I'm not giving up on you, get your act together, come on, let's go. The leave no man behind thing. So call each other to greatness, not average. Call each other to greatness, not to be average, man. Call each other to greatness. Now, if you would, I put together a follow-up document called ReGroup Check-in Success. And just some reminders, we've talked about these things before, and it follows up really closely to last week's talk about the Johari window and how there's the private zone that I have to volunteer to you and disclose to you, and there's the hidden zone, the blind spot where I actually don't know that about myself, and you have to speak to me on that. So this is good follow-up for that, because authenticity is where I volunteer the truth about my life and recovery. And that's what a check-in is supposed to be doing. The spirit of it is being authentic. And for most men, they've lived a lie and haven't been open with other men. They have not been open with other men. This might be the first time you've ever done that. I've never been in a group like this where we talk honestly about our stuff. That is true of so many men. So authenticity, you volunteer the truth about your life and your recovery. Accountability, you let others speak in your life. That's the crosstalk. Accountability is what happens in the small group, the breakout room, and also with your accountability partners or partner, where you be honest with them about how you're doing and they speak into your life. Intentionality, you do a full check-in to monitor your life and recovery. A full check-in. I'm honest, volunteer the truth, full check-in. Because the whole point of the check-in, every one of those statements is designed to take you to a better place. The more of those you're nailing, the better direction your life will be. But a lot of guys withhold. A lot of guys don't tell the whole story. And so there needs to be challenge from the other men, where you honestly receive the grit, the correction from other men. And then there needs to be support, where you humbly receive the grace, their encouragement. So correction and encouragement is very, very, very common, what needs to be happening in the ReGroup breakout sessions. Some scriptures to remind you that what we're talking about actually is 100% biblical. Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed, that you may recover. The prayer of a righteous brother in the group is powerful and effective. When you get men praying for you, you open up and volunteer your stuff, the enemy doesn't like that. He doesn't like you to be honest. He doesn't like you to be open. He doesn't like you to admit your faults. But when you confess your faults to one another and pray for each other, that's the journey of healing. James 5. 1 Thessalonians 5 says that encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you're doing. Now, some of you are doing this better than others, but you call to encourage. I had a fabulously encouraging call by a man who had to be in a long driving trip. And he called and says, hey, Dr. Dave, I got a long drive today. I'd just like to spend some time praying for you. Could you give me some prayer requests? And I think I gave him 8 or 9, maybe even 10 different prayer requests. But I felt so honored that he would encourage me by praying for me. So because he was doing that, I didn't just, pray that I'll be a better man. I gave him some real specifics, and I was so honored by the encouragement that he brought. And then the idea in Proverbs 15, And I actually, Lord willing, this fall, we'll do a whole talk on this particular aspect of learning to receive correction. But whoever heeds life-giving correction, when a guy in the group is calling you to make change in the direction towards purity, integrity, and honor in the Lord, it is life-giving correction. Whoever heeds life-giving correction will be at home among the wise. Those who disregard discipline, when someone calls them out and they blow it off, those who disregard discipline despise themselves. But the one who heeds correction gains understanding. Gentlemen, that's the spirit of the ReGroup check-in. Authenticity, accountability, intentionality, allowing challenge and support to happen, and following these and many other scriptures to be accountable to one another in the ReGroup breakout sessions. And so when we do a check-in, this is what a check-in is designed to do. This is what a check-in is all about.